I'm 60 Second Spidey, and I'm recapping mainline Spider-Man comics in timeline order. Here's part 19. A speeding car zooms through New York City but is stopped by a cop named Joe on a motorcycle, making him a hero in the papers. A crooked cop and Beetle team up and plan crime across the city to empty the police precinct and allow Beetle to steal a briefcase from the evidence room, but Spidey catches Beetle in the act. The two fight, but luckily police officer Joe helps Spidey out and they are able to take Beetle out before learning the briefcase secretly held $1 million. Peter is on assignment in LA for the Bugle interviewing the X-Men Angel about the breakup of the superhero group The Champions. Thinking something was fishy, Spidey witnesses Angel confront a bandaged man who controls a villain called Rampage. Despite Angel's pleas, Spidey fights the duo and learns the bandaged man's mind-controlled ally is Iceman himself. Spider-Man and Angel are running from the brainwashed Iceman, while Angel tells Peter how Bobby was brainwashed by the masked villain using special gas. The three heroes continue to fight, but Spidey is able to bring Iceman back to his senses by melting him in a car wash, oldest trick in the book. The masked man faints without Iceman protecting him, so Peter is able to go back to New York. Flash Thompson and his girlfriend Shaw are at the Coffee Bean when it's attacked by the Enforcers, who are looking for Spidey. Peter of course gives them what they want and shows up to absolutely beat down the trio, as fellow student Hector, who's secretly the White Tiger, stays to watch. The fight ends with Ox knocking himself out as the Enforcers' employer Lightmaster deduces Hector must be Spidey. After last issue's events, the villain Lightmaster believes ESU student Hector is Spider-Man, so he attacks and captures him on campus. While broadcasting his victory on TV, Spidey gives Hector the amulet he dropped, allowing him to turn into the White Tiger. The two heroes team up and take Lightmaster on, but right when the villain is about to win, he overloads the city's electricity, causing his own defeat. Spider-Man is chasing Rocket Racer through the streets, but loses the villain down in the subways. Rocket Racer delivers the goods to his employer, Jackson Wheel, but blackmails him as Peter thinks about how all of his friends have found love but him. Spidey tracks down Rocket Racer again, but is still unable to catch him as he speeds around on the skateboard Tinkerer made him. Back at his apartment, Peter shockingly proposes to Mary Jane? After being blackmailed last issue, a man named Jackson Wheel hires Tinkerer to make him something special. While visiting Aunt May in the hospital, Peter encounters Rocket Racer again, but Jackson Wheel debuts his new identity as the Big Wheel. Using Big Wheel as a distraction, Spidey captures Rocket Racer before watching the wheel accidentally plummet into the ocean. Back at the hospital, MJ turns down Peter's random marriage proposal. Betty Brant tells Peter she has left her new husband Ned Leeds and joins him at his college graduation rehearsal, where they encounter a fellow student, Philip, who's afraid the Dragon Gang is after him, which proves to be true when he's taken by a man called the White Dragon. Spidey follows them to a warehouse, but he's scratched with poison claws and suspended over random burning oil to force Philip to join the gang, but they drop Spidey after he refuses. After being dropped in burning oil, Spidey makes a web costume to escape, causing the dragon groups to flee, and learns the groups are trying to blackmail his classmate Philip into joining them. Spidey has a rematch with the leader White Dragon and defeats him pretty easily, then heads to his college graduation where his name isn't called because he forgot to do his one gym credit, so he needs to come back to school after all. Matt Gargan is angry at himself and Jameson for ruining his life, and breaks into the lab of the scientist that made him Scorpion and uses the machines to make himself even stronger. Peter and MJ decide to remain together despite her rejecting his marriage proposal, as Scorpion heads out to eliminate Jonah. Spidey saves Jameson once again, then takes out his anger on Scorpion, who he unmasks and leaves lying in the street. While swinging home from his evening with Betty Brant, Peter saves a waitress at a diner, but one of the crooks flees and is captured by Moon Knight. Not realizing he is a hero, Spidey of course attacks Moon Knight, giving the crook time to call his Magia boss, who sends the villain Cyclone to the scene, ready to fight both heroes. The Magia sent supervillain Cyclone after Spidey and Moon Knight, and he easily defeats them before silencing the Magia goon who could have given the heroes a lead. Finally realizing he's a superhero, Spidey teams up with Moon Knight instead of fighting him, and they have a rematch with Cyclone in a graveyard tomb, where they defeat him, but aren't able to track down the Magia leader, Big M. Thanks for watching part 19 of my Spider-Man Timeline recap. Like, follow, and subscribe as I post daily shorts and long-form compilations.